Okay guys, so it's been in the press recently about our obesity epidemic that's running its way through the country. It's nothing new really. It's been around for years, but specifically they're talking about our young population and how more than ever we're seeing more obese children than we ever have. And they're specifically targeting companies, the big multi-million dollar companies such as McDonald's, Subway, KFC, etc., to take action and to actually think about reducing the amount of calories that are in their meals, which is good, and it's a great idea. And let's face it, those companies are going nowhere. They're always going to be around. Parents are always going to take the easy option and take their kids to those sort of places as kind of a quick fix to stop them complaining, stop them crying and whinging, etc. So it's not a bad incentive to try and reduce the amount of calories in the meals that those big companies are producing. However, just thinking about it and just kind of looking a little bit deeper into it, because I think, regards to the government and regards to what's come out of the press, it's only scraping the surface. And obviously being in the industry and things like that, it's only natural to look a bit deeper and actually, what is the actual root cause of the problem, or what is happening, because certainly producing an incentive like that is not the root cause of the problem. It's not going to solve it, and I think it lies in us as individuals, and ultimately, whether it's us or whether it's our kids, we have a choice. Okay, and I certainly don't believe that the problem lies in us consuming too many calories. I think the problem lies in the choices we make when it comes to picking meals, to picking foods. We're poor at choosing the right foods to eat, whether that's through convenience, ease, we like the food, or just a general lack of knowledge, who knows. But notoriously our society make very, very poor food choices. Now, with regards to the calorie intake, I'll just make two examples of that. And the first one being my girlfriend's son, Riley. He's a 6-year-old lad. He goes to our local primary school. He gets to school just before 9, and we pick him up around 3:30. Now, within that time, he's given one meal. Okay, so it's by no means is it a massive calorie meal, and he certainly, in my opinion, should be given more than one meal a day while he's required to think to his highest level throughout that day, but also function actively as well. He's a very active kid, and by no means is he obese, but he's given one meal throughout the day at primary school. So no way is there a calorie surplus at schools, and it's not just Riley's school, it's loads of other schools as well. Therefore, I think the problem lies in what happens before school and after school, and simply it's down to parents' choice of foods and what they're not making their child eat, but what they're preparing for their child, or certainly giving to their child to eat, which won't necessarily take them over their calorie surplus, but certainly can cause them more harm than good. We all know about processed foods, high sugar foods, increasing cravings, so making them crave the same food, and that's what happens. The second example I want to use as well is like what we see day to day at Frontier, and I still won't have it that a higher percentage than what we see here are on a calorie surplus, because 75-80% of the clients we get in here, when we ask them for their food diaries and we input it into a calorie counter, they're not eating enough for their body. But what is happening is that they're picking the wrong foods. They're making very, very poor food choices, which doesn't need us to tell them. They already know that. And what it actually involves is them trying to keep, if anything, up their calories, but make better food choices, which ultimately then helps get them into shape. So I think it's great, obviously, what's come out in the press over these last few days, but I think sometimes we've got to look a little bit deeper, and certainly with this, I think it's not necessarily about how many calories we're eating. For most of the population, it's the fact we're making very, very poor food choices.